broadcore updates. You kind of called them before they were actually called broadcore updates. They were called phantom updates, I believe.
Yeah.
And then Google's like, enough of Glenn calling them phantom updates. We're going to call them broadcore updates. And they showed you. No, I'm showing it's great. Us pushing and you pushing, the SEO community pushing in general, provides more transparency, which leads us to find out that we know less about Google, even though we know more, and we want more transparency. I always felt like it was like a lose-lose situation for Google to tell us more information. I'm like, I even told Danny and Google, I'm like, tell us less, because the more you tell us, the more we want to know. And you feel like we're hiding more and more, but that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
But first, the message from our sponsor. SE Rankings is a top-rated SEO platform designed to help agencies and businesses of all sizes automate their daily tasks and make data-driven decisions. You can get your 14 free-day trial at seranking.com. Check it out. So a lot of your work, I think, is around these broadcore updates.
Yes.
Customers probably come to you and it's like, I'm panicked. My traffic dropped off. I have 80% less traffic. I have to let go employees. There's that level of like sympathy and emotional aspect. We have to like calm them down and so forth. And then you have to come up with a strategy which you don't have money for, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's I hear some crazy stories, which is why I'm pretty sensitive sometimes on Twitter or social media when people come and say, you don't have to worry about broadcore updates, or they're not, who cares about them? It's never a broadcore update that's the problem. And it's like, well, listen, I have companies calling me all the time that lost 60, 70, 80% of their traffic. The worst hit I've ever seen was 91% of their traffic lost overnight due to a broadcore update. It's catastrophic for those companies. It's scary for them. They lay employees off. Sometimes they have to go out of business completely. And sometimes they're not, often actually, they're not meaning to do things wrong.
Right.
They have large sites, complex sites, and things get out of control over time. I have a long conversation usually with prospective clients before I take them on about how this works, how broadcore updates work, how much work's involved, how long it's going to take to potentially recover, which can be 6 months, even a year in serious situations. And that's only if you significantly improve the site. I form a lot of really strong bonds with clients over that, right? Because if you can help them, recover and hire again and flourish based upon problems that they had through their site, whether it's content-wise, technical impact and quality, whatever it may be, just not understanding what those triggers are. And again, there's never one smoking gun. If you've read any of my posts on broadcore updates, it's never one thing. Google's using machine learning. They could be sending thousands of signals to a machine learning system. So it's usually improving a lot of things over time, and great things could happen. Back to Phantom for a second, just because I want to clarify that. So I'll never forget, it was April 2015 when a massive update rolled out. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. No one was talking about it, other than the companies contacting me and what I was seeing. I wrote the post, called it Phantom, and all hell broke loose. CNBC called, all this stuff, and then finally Google came out and confirmed it, which was amazing. But yeah, that was a broadcore update before they were called broadcore updates. Now Google, to clarify, never called this Phantom, okay? Because I called it that because it was mysterious, and then kind of stuck, and people were calling it Phantom updates every time. A broadcore update rolled out that wasn't confirmed.
It's good. It's good to have these things. Even like the Medic update, Google never confirmed it, and I called it that, and it stuck with the industry as well.
Yeah, that was, you definitely called that one. I remember, actually, we were DMing each other that morning when you were naming it.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you think? I want to be like medical focused, health focused, and I think you helped me with that, so I appreciate it. Good naming this stuff. So.
No, but that was, you were right on. I had health and medical companies galore reaching out after getting absolutely destroyed by that update.
After Google said it's YMYL. Okay, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Pretty interesting. When you get these broadcore update clients calling you and their revenue probably drops like 80% sometimes.
Significantly, yeah.
And then you say it's a 6 month at least timeline for them to see improvement. And they probably won't get back to where they were originally. Maybe they will. Do they always get back to where they were? Probably not.
Not always, but often, sometimes they could go beyond that.
Okay.
But it's tough. Well, the big one with that is they get that there's a lot of work to do. But when you say you have a massive, aggressive advertising problem, which also factors into broadcore updates, then they're like, wait a minute. You want me to cut down on
Yeah.
revenue at a time where I need that, but that's the danger, right? If you actually put more ads, then you're going to be in a worse situation.
Right.
I could almost guarantee you will not come back.
Yeah.
So that's the tough conversation. But I've done this for so long, I could show them examples, right? Without naming the sites. I could be like, this site had the same deal, and look, they recovered, but they stripped out all of this stuff. Like, don't have 3/4 of the viewport ads following you down the page and video playing, and you can't even see the content. You know,
So they have to figure out a way to show fewer ads, but charge more for those ads with less traffic in order to pay your bill to help them recover and also potentially not lose employees. It's
right.
It's such a tough situation.
It's really tough. And, you know, I don't know what the future of broad-core updates are, because for a while, and I've been meaning to write this post, which is, will this all just be real time? Right? Like right now, it requires a refresh.
Yeah.
Massive changes happen. Google hates when massive changes have to happen overnight, right? Because then all hell breaks loose. Journalists call this and that, and I'm sure they feel, you know, they catch a lot of flack. But imagine this was more like a helpful content update that's constantly flowing. Right. And then maybe you see a decrease over time, over a few months of dropping. You can maybe adjust to that. Whatever it may be. I don't know. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I asked Paul Haar, who's, you know, a lead ranking engineer at Google, one of the smartest guys at Google around algorithms, at the Webmaster Conference, if you remember, we were sitting next to each other, and I said, can you roll these out more often? And he said, there's such a bottleneck because we analyze so much data, do so much evaluation in between broad core updates that we can't do it. So I'm sure that the technology could get there, but that's probably a huge change, but to me, that's almost like what needs to happen.
Right. They did it with Penguin.
Right.
That used to run every so often.
Yeah.
But yeah, this will
and
happen.
Panda. But then Panda to me kind of went away, right?
Well,
I mean, it was like a weird thing.
You know, like we're talking to H.J. Kim at Google, and he's like, what do you call it? The Cody update.
Kawadi, right?
Kawadi update, sorry.
I think that.
I'm like, he said it like 3 times. I'm like, what are you saying? What are you talking about? It's like, you don't know about the Kawadi update?
Yeah, that was really interesting.
I'm like, what? I'm like,
yeah.
So Panda has multiple iterations. I'm sure these core updates have multiple iterations as well. And will it ever be real time? I guess it has to be. I don't know. We'll see. They're good at one thing. They're good at is making things faster. So
yeah, I mean, I could imagine. But then, of course, the downside there is you don't know that you've been impacted by a broad core update, you know, or whatever it's going to be called.
Right.
So you know, some of these sites are losing, like I said, 60, 70, 80% of traffic overnight. At least you know, hey, we were impacted by this broad core update.
Right.
And there are a number of things to look at, from content to user experience to ad situation to affiliate situation, all that stuff.
Right. I was going to get into like now. Give me the list of tips, and you'd be like, well, you got to throw the kitchen sink at it, which is your phrase.
Right.
And what are the most, like, if you had to like name the most obvious things, probably ads.
No. I would say it's